Faith and begorra, 'tis the time of the Irish. I'm Richard.
And I'm Gary, and these are our incredible stories. Hello and welcome back to all of our listeners from around the world and across the United States. We are so happy to have you back with us for some more of Rich and Gary's incredible stories. And if you are new and you like what you hear, well, feel free. Hit that like and subscribe button. Join us every Friday. We have new episodes, new stories to tell, and we always love adding new friends to our lineup of people who are already here enjoying this show. So go ahead, enjoy. What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I also want to welcome each and every one of our listeners this evening. I always look forward to our little get-togethers on Friday night, or whenever it is that you happen to listen to our podcast. We're absolutely thrilled to have you with us. And next week, a week from tonight, a week from Friday night, which is tonight, is St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is typically observed on March 17th, and this year it falls on a Friday. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to talk a little bit about St. Patrick's Day the week before so that everybody is fully up to speed for St. Patrick's Day when it occurs.
Oh, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start off with a few interesting things about St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, do tell.
Mm-hmm. Did you know, Gary, that blue was the color that was originally associated with St. Patrick?
No, I did not. When I think of St. Patrick's Day, it's always green.
And so it is green indeed today. And even in Ireland, everything is green. But blue was what was originally associated with the historical St. Patrick. Something unusual.
That is unusual.
Historical trivia. Now, the first St. Patrick's Day parade in the American colonies before we became the United States, that was held in New York City on this day, March 17th, a week from tonight, in 1762.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And did you know that St. Patrick's Day is the traditional day for planting a particular vegetable, even if it's in the snow?
Oh, I better know what it is. Is it the potato?
No.
Really? What is it?
It's peas.
Peas?
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day. I know a lot of people don't know some of these obscure facts that we bring to the show.
I didn't know that.
St. Patrick's Day is the traditional day for planting peas. Even if it has snowed in your area and there's snow on the ground, you plant peas.
Well, then you get snow peas.
Oh, that's pretty clever, Gary.
I just heard somebody groan across the world.
Yeah. Anyways, cabbage seeds are often planted today, too. And the old-time farmers believed that to make them grow well, you needed to plant them while wearing your night clothes. No PJs required.
Because that's the time when I want to do all my gardening is in my pajamas.
Oh, yeah, right. Whoever had thought of something like that. Now, before we get down to some of our historical content, I'm going to ask you the joke of the season.
Okay, what is it?
Why should you never iron a four-leaf clover?
I have no idea why.
You don't want to press your luck.
Ba-dum-tsh.
Yeah.
I just heard 5 more people start to groan.
Ooh, lots of groans around the world tonight. Okay, folks, if you'll indulge us, we'll get to a little more serious matter now. Was there a St. Patrick? Was he a real person? What do you think, Gary?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you'd be right. The man who eventually became St. Patrick, he wasn't born in Ireland. He was actually born in Britain, and that was part of the Roman Empire at the time. So you folks who are listening to us from Britain, St. Patrick was born amongst ye.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And his name was Maewyn Succat. I'm going to spell that.
Yeah,
Maewyn, M-A-E-W-Y-N. That was his first name. and his last name or family name, Succat, Succat. Strange name, don't you think?
I definitely think that is a strange name.
Yeah, and he was born in the late 4th century, so that would be in the 300s sometime.
Wow.
His family was Christian, but you know what? Maywin didn't go along with what his family believed. He decided that he would be an atheist, somebody who did not believe in God,
Huh?
all through his childhood.
Okay.
That's unusual,
Okay.
right? I can't tell you why. History has lost the details of that. But
So St. Patrick was an atheist.
he started off as an atheist.
Alrighty.
He started off as somebody born in Britain. And then at 16 years old, of all things, he was kidnapped. This was right around the turn of the century, right around 400. He was kidnapped from his home, taken out of his home, which was on the west coast of Britain, by Irish pirates.
Ooh.
The Irish were the bad guys in this story.
Oh, no.
And they carried him off to Ireland. And they forced him to work as a shepherd herding sheep.
No
and
bueno.
He stayed in captivity for 6 years. So that would make it 22 years old when he escaped.
Ooh.
He escaped his pirate captors, and I tell you what, he did the hike of all hikes. He walked almost 200 miles.
200 miles?
Yep, across Ireland, back to the coast, and convinced a ship to carry him back to Britain.
Jiminy.
Yeah. So already we have a guy who was kidnapped at the age of 16, didn't believe in God, but his family did, was a long ways away from home and ended up making his way back home to Britain from Ireland.
My gosh.
And then, of course, the strangest part of the story is later on he would return to Ireland, as a priest.
As a priest. So how did he find God if he was an atheist?
That is a good question. So, Gary, Maywin was convinced that having walked 200 miles and then hitchhiked on a ship back home to Britain, that it was the Lord who protected him and delivered him home safely. So at this point, he underwent a conversion to Christianity.
So he had a moment of clarity and an epiphany.
An epiphany. He had an epiphany, that's right. And so he spent, for back in those days, he spent an awfully long amount of time in a monastery, 15 years.
That's a long time.
Oh, yeah, because lifespans back then were not all that long. And so 15 years preparing for missionary work in a monastery, that was a pretty huge chunk of time.
Yeah, it is.
So eventually, of course, he was ready to be ordained, and he became a priest, and that's when he changed his name to Patricius, Patrick.
For a second, I thought you said Patricia.
No, Patricius.
Patricius.
Or Patrick. And that's when he decided, of all things, to go, not stay in his homeland, but to go back to the place where he had been kidnapped by pirates and held in captivity, Ireland.
Isn't that something?
And he decided that that's where he would teach the gospel.
That was going to be his home.
Yeah, and he traveled from village to village. He shared the teachings of the Lord, and he actually founded a lot of churches there.
Really? And he chased all the snakes out of Ireland, right?
So, I think that's one of the one of the old wives' tales. Now, we wear a shamrock on St. Patrick's Day because the legend says St. Patrick used its 3 leaves to explain the Holy Trinity.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, the 3 divine people who are divine, one being God. But we don't have any direct record that he actually used the shamrock as a teaching tool, so we don't know that for a fact. But here's something interesting. His symbol was a 3-leaf shamrock to represent the Holy Trinity, right?
Right.
but we have four-leaf clovers. Now, the four-leaf clover, the ancient Celts, they thought that was a charm against evil spirits, so that did have some kind of spiritual connection.
That makes sense. And a lot of things, when it comes to that, there's always a mixture of religion and cultural traditions from that region.
Yeah, and so again, we have no proof that St. Patrick ever had any kind of connection with the three-leaf clover whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
And the four-leaf clover is the one that does have a little bit of religious background from the ancient Celts. But here's what happened with the four-leaf clover, Gary. In 1911, the superintendent of an Iowa school, his name was O.H. Benson, he decided that he could use the clover as an emblem for their agricultural club for children. And that club became...
The 4-H club?
4-H. The National Club Agricultural Program, 4-H.
Yeah, for kids who want to go into farming and agriculture.
Yeah. So that started, that's really why the four-leaf clover is quite significant today. And, a lot of schools have their 4-H clubs, I think. They
still have 4-H. The camp that I work at, which I'm working at this summer, this past summer, the school that we use for our site has a 4-H club. And they have their chickens, and they've got pigs and other things, little goats and whatnot. And yeah, it still exists. I feel like, everywhere has it. Everywhere has a 4-H club, but I feel like it's more popular in the heartland and Southwest than in most other places.
Yeah, in America's Midwest, especially.
Yeah, in the Midwest,
Iowa,
especially the
Kansas,
Midwest.
places like that.
That's where it's really popular. It's not to say it doesn't exist anywhere else. It's just it's
where
far more
a lot of
popular.
A lot of farms.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that with St. Patrick's Day coming along next week, we did well to talk about the historical figure, St. Patrick, what really happened to him, how he had his conversion, and what he did afterwards, the four-leaf clover, and some of the more unusual things connected with St. Patrick's Day. So I would say, for those of you who are listening in at this time, I hope you enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. Be sure to wear the green, and if you can, wear a four-leaf clover, and you'll be right in style.
Absolutely. And until next time,
I'm Patio Richard.
I'm still Gary. But if you like what you heard and you think somebody else might enjoy these wonderful stories, remember, hit that like and subscribe button and join us again for some more incredible stories.